What
Hey,
is
good
up,
morning.
gang? Good morning, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing excellent, man. How are you?
Doing well, man. Thanks for making it out today.
Hey, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. I found you on TikTok a little while ago and been really appreciating the content, and it's been super fun. And I saw you reach out to me on Instagram. I was like, hey, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this whole concept of Cup of Joe literally is like you and I meeting at the coffee shop for the first time and just getting to know each other. So
Hey,
I
love it.
think you followed my content or you left a comment, and the first thing I did was go check out your page, and I was like, damn, this dude's on to something fantastic. So I want to get to know what you're about. Anyways, welcome, Pete. Welcome to everybody who's out there in the audience. Let me check in real quick. Give me 1 second.
Hey,
Uh,
sounds good.
so we have Sanda out there, we have Evan, we have Rebecca. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We have a special guest today. Pete goes by the name of the Mighty Baker, and I have to make sure I make you a banner so everybody knows where to find you. But literally, like, I just want to catch up and jam and get to know you. So if you could do me a favor and just introduce yourself and kind of talk about what you're up to.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so Pete Tidwell. So I started a business called The Mighty Baker back in 2013, and I started as a licensed home bakery, selling desserts and things at like local farmers markets. Had that for 2.5 years. Opened up a storefront bake shop in 2015. Had that shop for 3 years, and unfortunately had to close it down, which was super heartbreaking for me.
Yeah,
We had some local construction that came through and some other issues that came through that I just decided to close it down. That was the end of 2018. And then 2019 was kind of a rebuilding year for me. And so I didn't do much business, very much of a rebuilding year. It was really hard, not only rebuilding business, but also just rebuilding like mentally, just because having to close down my business was such a hard thing to do. Um, but then I came up with this idea of doing a do-it-yourself cake studio. And so my new business that I have
nice.
is a do-it-yourself cake decorating studio where customers can come in and they get a cake or cupcakes and they can decorate it here in the studio. And we opened just in January. And so we just very new business. So unfortunately, this whole coronavirus thing hasn't been good to our
I know,
business.
man. I know. How have you been during this COVID-19?
You know what? We made a quick pivot, and I know that I listen to a lot of people online and stuff, and there's quite a few people that talk about this, and I had to pivot really quick, and sometimes in different situations you have to pivot really fast. And so what we did is, knowing that we had to close our in-studio experience, we started offering our do-it-yourself cake and cupcake decorating kits for
Oh,
home
nice,
delivery.
nice.
And so we've been delivering them to people's homes over the last 8 weeks. And we've had like probably about 450, 460 kits that we've delivered to people's homes in my
That's
community, which has been
fantastic.
super, super fun.
Yeah, that's fantastic, man. Where are you located? Where are you based?
So I'm in Provo, Utah.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, Provo. And how about you? Where are you?
So I'm in Indiana,
Oh,
like
cool.
Indianapolis area. And what's funny about Provo, Utah is I've actually been there. A
Oh,
beautiful, beautiful
awesome.
place. I
Oh,
was
very beautiful.
during college. I joined a company. You probably have heard of it, New Skin.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, yep. So I travel over there for their conferences and hang out for the weekend. So very familiar with Provo, Utah.
That's awesome. Well, if you make it over here sometime, come see me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Do you follow a guy? I think there's a guy that's huge on TikTok that is from Utah, JT Laybourne.
Mm, I think I may follow him, but I don't know him.
Okay. Anyway, I think he's from your area. I might be wrong,
Gotcha.
but
Gotcha.
um, well, man, that's a journey you've been on with your business,
It
and
has been. It
yeah,
has
yeah,
been.
yeah, yeah. And I love how you innovated and started selling the kits online. I think that's a fantastic shift. Let's go back. So I'm curious, like, how did you even get involved in the business? Like, what?
Oh man,
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting because a lot of my background. I mean, if you go back far enough, so when I was 15 years old, my oldest brother in my family, he's 12 and a half years older than I am. His name's Tad Tidwell, and he owns a few local sandwich shops here in Utah called Gandolfo's, and he has a few franchises, and I worked for him from when I was 15 until I was almost 29. So I worked for him well, maybe 28, but anyway, I worked for him for 14 and a half years managing his deli. And
Okay.
so that got me into, making food, working with customers, customer service, those kind of things, catering. Um, and then I ended up going to college and graduated in communications with an emphasis in advertising and marketing. And it's kind of a bit of a story because honestly, like I didn't come into cakes until I was probably like in like right before I had graduated college. And when I graduated college, I moved out to New York City. I worked at a couple huge companies in New York. I worked at L'Oreal doing
Wow.
product marketing. On
Wow.
Fifth Avenue, product marketing for Redken and Pureology.
That's crazy, dude.
And then I worked at Microsoft on Sixth Avenue doing some Microsoft advertising type of work. And so I lived right there in Manhattan for 3 years with my family. I'm married and have 3 kids. Had 2 kids at the time, but um, and so while I was doing that, I started baking when I was finishing up college. But when I was in New York City working a corporate job, what I quickly realized is that it wasn't using the creative part of my brain, and so what I would do in the evenings is I would bake, I would try new recipes as kind of a stress relief hobby type of thing.
Nice.
And over time, it just came to be something that I had a natural talent for, and it just kind of grew from there, man. It's been kind of nuts.
That's awesome, man. You'll appreciate this. So I'm in the salon business. My mom actually opened her
Oh,
salon
cool.
in 2009. When I graduated college, while I was doing my network marketing thing with the new skins and all that jazz, I decided to just jump in and go into business with her. And one of the product lines that we carry in our salon is L'Oreal Professionnel. And
Hey, there we
so,
go.
and we also carry Redken as well. So the fact that you've been in that arena, it blows my mind. That's just funny how the universe works, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
totally, totally,
yeah,
totally.
for sure. I didn't catch who you were working for at 15. Who was that?
So it's my brother. So he owns a couple locations of a deli here in Utah called Gandolfo's.
Gandolfo's. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's funny how life works, man. Like, so you were in kind of in the business, early on at 15, but you probably didn't have any idea that you were going to get into the bakery business, right? Because you said 10
Not
years later,
Yeah,
you,
I mean,
you
not at all. And one of the big things that got me into doing baking was I used to watch, all the Food Network, TV shows, right? And and I was like, man, that would be so cool to do those kind of things. And years later, I don't know if saw my profile. I've been on the Food Network a few times, which was
absolutely, I
like a
saw that.
lifelong dream of mine. Never thought it would even be a possibility, and I'm a completely self-taught baker. I've never taken a class in my life.
That's crazy.
And so I applied to go on Cake Wars on Food Network back in 2015 or 2016, like going to compete against people that like have been like professionally trained, and then I ended up winning on the show. And it was kind of crazy because it's like
Two
the,
times, right?
yeah, so I've been on there 2 times, and then I went on the Halloween Baking Championship this last year, which I didn't win on, but I got to the finals. And all 3 times are such an amazing experience. And even if I hadn't won, that's not even the reason I went on the shows. I really wanted to show to myself. I didn't really care too much about other people. I really wanted to show to myself that I could accomplish something great,
Good for you.
and it took so much work to do that. And the Halloween Baking Championship was a bit more of a challenge too, because I'm more of a cake person and I do a lot of desserts and stuff too. But that show was basically, during the year that I was rebuilding my business. It was after I closed, and it was kind of a bit of a way to kind of get myself back in the game,
Yeah,
and to kind of prove to myself that I can still do it, kind of thing.
awesome, awesome. So how'd that go down? The whole the Food Network. The how did you get exposure to that?
You know what? The very first time, honestly, like it just took a couple Google searches and finding a casting page. That's it. Like
Mm,
I mean, it took me a while to find it, but honestly, I just went on Google and said, "Hey, Food Network casting or Cake Wars casting or whatever." And I tried so many different combinations, and then finally found a page that I could submit my information to. And then they got back in touch with me, and it happened. So
Huh.
like, I mean, it goes to show that like really it's just like a small little jump and a small little act to get something done. Like
Absolutely.
some people think it takes so much to get to some place, but like it's
Yeah,
really
man.
just that small thing.
It really is. And it's like I always think it's like the consistency matters as well, right? So like little small things. It's funny, I never had a relationship or met my grandfather. I was actually named after him. Um, but one of his nicknames or one of his phrases that he was coined for was little drops. And he always believed like it takes little drops to make a big ocean, right? And so I really believe in what you just said, big time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally,
yeah.
totally.
Being a self-taught baker, man, like talk to me about your personality. Have you always just been a person that jumps into something and, just tries to learn it and figure it out on your own? Did you have any doubts when you finally started to figure it out yourself? Did you feel like, man, I'm not really certified to do this? Was there any insecurities there?
You know what? Not really. I think ever since I was a young kid, like my parents from a young age definitely taught us to work for things that we want, and anything that we want in life we're gonna have to work for. My parents didn't buy me a car or anything like that, and a lot of
Good.
my friends like got cars bought for them in high school, but my parents were like, you know what? If you want a car, you're gonna have to work for it. And I use that as an example just because I feel like I've always been the type just to kind of work for whatever. And if somebody tells me that I can't do it, it actually gives me more motivation to do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, if I can't do it, like if you tell me I have to go to pastry school, let's say, you know what, I'm gonna try and not go to pastry school and see if I can do it. So
Right. 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 I love that. I love that. I think the transition from when you close down your business to reopening your new project, I'm really it takes a certain personality, like a certain mindset to do that, because it's tough to try to close something down that you've been working so hard at. And I'm just curious, like, what advice would you give to anybody who is starting over?
yeah, it's hard, man. I had a 3-year lease at my bake shop, and it got to be the end, and like some construction came through that kind of hurt our business. And then that wasn't the only reason, but we were just not the best location, and there was a lot of little factors. And it got to be the end of my 3-year lease, and I needed to just decide to close. And it was one of the hardest decisions I've ever made because it was like all-time dream to open up this bake shop. So I think probably the biggest advice would be like, first of all, like if you're running something, whether it's a storefront or whether it's something else, like realize like when it's time to stop and
Yeah.
when it's time to pivot. But then also like when you're in that phase of after you've shut something down or closed and you're trying to kind of muster up the confidence to go on to the next thing, like just don't be too hard on yourself. Like I was so hard on myself for so many months where I just kind of felt like I was a failure, felt like I had failed myself and that my business didn't work and all these things. And my wife has always been a huge cheer person for me, and always is like, not all the factors were in your control, and like you can move on from this. And when I came up with this other idea, it was huge. And I think that's another point too, is sometimes in those moments like of like despair or moments where you feel like you're lost or a failure, that's often like if you can just flip a small little switch, that's often when like you come up with the next great idea, right? I think that's how it happened with me, is just that I wanted to make something work, and I was like, okay, let's think of the positives. I have a brand that I built. People know what this is. Let's try and rebuild something around that. And it took me quite a few months, and I still struggle from time to time
Absolutely, man.
mentally.
Yeah.
Just because I think back sometimes to my last bake shop, and I'm like, I have this is my new shop that I'm in right now, but
It looks awesome, man.
and but I think to my old shop, and I'm like, oh man, the glory days, like when I was doing all my different desserts and everything. And I think back to that and kind of get sad sometimes, but then at the same time, it's all part of that journey, right? And
Yeah.
I think maybe the last little piece of advice from that question would be, is make sure that you're learning from everything, from all of those hard things you have to go through. Because sometimes it's so easy just to get down on yourself and be like, all right, I'm done. I'm just going to go. And then another point too, and I think this is important to point out, is so when I moved back here to Utah in 2013, I got a full-time job working in marketing while I started my business. So I ran my business from home for 2.5 years while working a full-time job. Then I opened up my bake shop. And then when I closed my bake shop in 2018, I had to go back and get a full-time job to support my family, a wife and 3 kids. And so since the end of 2018 up until right now, I'm working full-time product marketing job for a local company here, and also running my business at the same time. And I'm doing that because my business is not to the point where it can pay my family what I need. And so I've got to work a full-time job and run all at the same time, which of course, that's a lot of work right there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hence the name out there. If you're paying attention, the Mighty Baker, because like, wow, that is a grind. You're on the hustle right now, and I respect it so much. What's your days, bro? How do you break your days down? I mean that.
Oh man, it's nuts, man. Yeah, it's crazy. So honestly, like, I mean, I've been working from home for my marketing job for the last couple months, just during this coronavirus time.
Yep.
But I'll be going back in office working within the next week or so. But honestly, how it normally works when I'm like working back in office is I wake up around 5. I work on my Mighty Baker stuff till about 8:30. Go into work, the typical 9 to 5 for my job, come home, have dinner with my kids and my family. Usually spend a couple hours in our backyard or go on a walk,
That's
spend
awesome.
some family time, put the kids to bed, and then my wife, she has a book she's writing.
Nice.
And then, so usually we'll kind of split and kind of work on a couple things, or we'll just spend time with each other for a little while. And then some nights I'll stay up late working on stuff again. So really it's like, it's such a hard balance. I know, like watching your videos, I know you have some kids too, and
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
it's a hard balance. Like,
It is.
but if you want to do all those things, you kind of have to put together kind of a bit of a schedule on how you're going to accomplish all that. Cause it's very easy for me. I'm very much of a workaholic, and like, I will just work on something so hard to get it done that I can forget about other things in my life. And so I have to make sure that I dedicate certain times, like, okay, I'm home and I'm here with my family and I'm away from my phone for just a little while so that I can dedicate that time. Because I very easily can just work so hard that I forget about other things.
I'm in the same boat, man. And actually, I'm trying to. That's one of my weaknesses, is trying to find balance in my days, because I know I can hit something so hard, especially when I see like a clear path. I just want to go for it, And being a new father with twins, and just trying to grow my family as well. I'm trying to find balance in that too. But dude, your story is inspiring, man. Like the fact that you're hustling a full-time job and growing your business on the side, like really, for me personally, gives me inspiration just to keep going. And I think anybody with your kind of mindset or personality, you have to have a strong why. And I'm really curious to dive into that. Like, what's your why? Because I mean, anybody outside of that would consider you, like any average person would consider you a crazy man, right?
Yeah, even my wife thinks I'm crazy, but she's like, man, you take on so much, but she of course appreciates it a ton. What's my why? That's a good question. I really want to be able to spend my time doing the things that I love, but more than that, like more than being able to spend my time making cakes, because I love doing that. I think the thing that encapsulates my why is really this business that I just opened, is that what cake decorating has done for me has been an outlet and almost an escape away from my frustrations of life. And I want to provide that for other people. So
Nice.
I think my why is like to help others be able to enjoy a creative outlet in my studio, but then also like I just want to inspire other people to follow their dreams. Like I want to be able to show to others that like even like I mean it takes a lot of hard work, but that honestly like anybody can do what they want, but you just have to put the work towards it, right? And I think
Absolutely.
that's something that I need to do better about is actually communicate on my social media, for instance, like the real journey, right? And that's been a goal of mine that I really want to kind of start tackling it a little bit more is be like, really like not just like, hey, look at my business, this is awesome, but like
Right.
this is what it really looks like, right? And I think my why is just to inspire others. I mean, very similar, just I think there's so much just junk in the world going around and just so much negativity that any bit of positivity and a lot of kids and a lot of people have tough home situations, like let them come and decorate a cake and just forget about their worries,
I,
right?
I
Like,
love that. I love that, man. Um, can anybody access these kits? Like, are you selling them nationwide
yeah.
or?
So, well, I'm right now. I'm trying to work through some challenges right now on being able to ship my cake decorating kits nationwide. I'm hoping within the next month or two I can get those kind of things figured out. There's just a lot of logistics with shipping
For
food and all
sure,
those
for
kind
sure,
of
for
things.
sure, for sure.
But if you're here local in Utah, we're doing home delivery, and then also, yeah, anybody can make a reservation and come to our shop and come decorate. And
Awesome.
hopefully, in the future, as business grows, I'll have more locations, but we'll see.
That's awesome. You will, man. You will. I can already tell by your drive. But let me check in real quick with everybody out there in the audience. If you have any questions for Pete specifically, make sure you start dropping those in the comment section. Also, do me a quick favor and follow him down here. He's on TikTok as the Mighty Baker as well as Instagram. Now, when you look at those two platforms, are you spending equal amount of time on both of them? Are you spending more time on one? Because I see you've done a great job on you've done a great job on both platforms, but your Instagram seems to be the one with the most activity.
Yeah, I mean that I've been on. Let's see, I started my Instagram account with the Mighty Baker probably 2011 or 2012. Actually, no, it would have been probably end of 2012, 2013, and that's kind of where I put most of my focus. But then, and I've got a good following on there, mainly because my Food Network
I was going to ask about that.
appearances.
Yeah, yeah.
That's helped a little bit.
That's good.
Um, but TikTok has been amazing. Like I listen to Gary Vee all the time, and he's a huge inspiration for me too. And
Me too.
he started talking about that, and I'm like, all right, I guess I'll give it a try. And so I went on there, and I'm like, well, I don't dance, I don't sing, I'm not a like comedy person or anything. So I just have kind of posted just kind of what kind of feels right, and I need to do a little bit better, I think, at being more consistent on there. But it's been fun. I've been going back in the past and posting pictures of cakes I've done before and things, and it's been a ton of fun, and it's been amazing because the growth on there. I think I just have over 5,000 followers.
Yep.
The amount of time that it took me to get from 0 to 5,000 has been just incredible.
Absolutely.
And so I'm trying to spend more time on there just because I see there's such growth potential on there.
Hence how you and I met.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm a big time Gary Vee guy. Honestly, I've been talking about him for a while now because he's the reason why I even got onto TikTok when it was Musical.ly originally. I looked at the platform. I said it wasn't for me. A whole bunch of teenage girls dancing. Don't want to kind of be that weird guy going into it. But then after he kept screaming about it last year, just ongoing, I said, you know what? Let me just go out there and just try to learn the app and tell my story. And it's been crazy. It's been crazy to see, like you said, from 0 to wherever I'm at. Like it's been insane.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And actually, I think it's one of those platforms where there's just been, and for me personally, there's been way more positivity on that platform than any other platform I've been on. And I don't know how to explain it or describe it, but I've just met some amazing human beings on there.
Yeah. I agree. I've been really impressed because oftentimes, like on Facebook and especially Instagram, it kind of becomes it's not non-authentic, but sometimes it is
Yeah,
non-authentic.
right.
And for some reason, and I'm not sure why, like you said, but for some reason, TikTok is able to like get that from people, and I'm not sure exactly the reason why that is, but I really appreciate that because I feel like people can be more real on that platform. Whereas I think where I don't understand why, and so part of me is like, people should just do that on Instagram too,
For
and just
sure,
kind of
for sure,
slowly shift it back. So
for sure. And I think that's why the platform's winning is because of the
mm,
authenticity from it. And
yeah,
now it's starting to get big, big names dropping names on it. I've started to see it on the news every day. So it's just going to be real interesting to see where that platform
yeah, it's
goes.
fun.
Did you hear the news about the Disney guy?
No, I don't think it did.
Disney Plus guy, I guess he's the one that ran Disney Plus. He's now the CEO of the platform. So,
Oh,
um,
interesting. There you go.
yeah, huge news for America, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, man, let me see if any questions have come in. What's the name of the cake shop?
Okay, so the cake shop is Cake Creation Studio by the Mighty Baker. So you can find us online at mightybaker.com or cakecreationstudio.com. They both kind of interlock with each other. So
Awesome. That was from Raging Fire Fitness. That's my man David. A good guy to know, by the way, Pete.
awesome.
When did you turn your gift into a business adventure?
It was back in 2013. So I moved back to Utah from New York City. I was working in corporate America, working in big business, big companies. Moved back to Utah with my wife and two kids. Both my wife and myself are from Utah, so kind of coming back home. And the goal was to start my bakery business from home, and just started selling stuff at farmers markets to try and see if people liked our stuff. And so that's where it all started. It was back in 2013, and luckily people liked our stuff, and we continued on.
What's the craziest cake you've ever made?
Oh man. Aside from the two cakes I made for Cake Wars, because those were just awesome. Um, Aside from those, there's a local company here in Utah called Traeger, and they make grills, like smoker grills, like for meat and things. And they had their 30th anniversary a couple years ago, and we made a full size replica, like scale replica of one of their grills for their 30th anniversary. And then the year following that, we made a life-size
That's
replica.
amazing.
Yeah, a life-size replica of a brand new one that they came out with that was bigger for a product launch that they had, and it fed 400 people. And I've got pictures and videos on TikTok and Instagram kind of showing it, but it was just so much fun because like side by side picture with like our cake grill and the real grill, like they look like almost identical, and it was
That's
just so fun. It
that's
was so great.
absolutely fantastic. Did you get a slice of your own cake?
Oh yeah, we always did. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, but it was fun because like though that's one of the things I love too is like those cakes. Like I went to an actual grill shop and took like intricate measurements of the grill to make sure that the cake was spot on, because obviously we're bringing it to the corporate headquarters and like they're going to know if it's not right. And so like we brought it in, and it's just so fun to unveil cakes like that to people too, because they're just awestruck, right?
Yeah, for sure. With the cake like that, how long does it take to make?
Oh man, intense amount of hours,
I bet.
like crazy. So I think those grill cakes, I want to say it's on my Instagram, but I want to say that it's between like 60 and 80 hours. I mean, it's like insanity. Like I've had cakes that have taken me 90 hours altogether.
Wow.
So it's insane. Yeah, it's crazy.
And just for my own personal education, I'm pretty sure you guys are working in a special room because I'm not sure how cakes work. Like this is not ice cream. I know we're not dealing with, but still, like to be able
Yeah.
to work 60 hours and keep that cake fresh. Like I'm pretty sure. Do you have a special room that's designated for?
Yeah, we usually keep the kitchen really cold, and then you have to put it in and out of a walk-in fridge. And so you work on it for a little while, put it back in, back and forth, and
Okay.
you just kind of have to do that. And sometimes you have to work in the walk-in cooler with a sweater on or something. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was curious about that. Misty Wallace says, "What is the best-selling cakes?"
Okay, so that's a good question. So right now, with my new business model, we sell our kits, and we kept it very simple, vanilla and chocolate cake. But going back to when I had my bake shop, there was a couple different flavors of cake that we would sell at my shop, that people just loved, and one of them is my chocolate brownie pound cake.
Man, that sounds
And
so good.
it's so good. We teamed that up with a vanilla Italian buttercream, and that's just amazing. So those always sold really, really well. And then it kind of interesting on both times on Food Network, on Cake Wars, they gave me some very interesting flavors I had to work with. And the first one was blue cheese that I had to work with. And so we made a cranberry cake with blue cheese honey buttercream.
Wow.
And it was incredible. And so we, did that on the show. They loved it. And then we served that in our shop. And then the second time I went on, they gave us a secret ingredient of ketchup. And so we had to so what I decided to make is a ketchup cake. So it's like a spice cake with ketchup in it. So picture carrot cake, right?
Okay.
So we did a ketchup cake with cream cheese frosting. And then we did a tomato jam in there as well. So we used like the yellow sun sugar tomatoes that are a little bit more sweet,
Right.
and then made like a jam out of it. And just the combination of all those flavors was really, really good.
Damn, dude. Damn. I mean, I might have to look at my first trip after this quarantine needs to be to Utah for sure.
Hey, there we go.
All right. Let's see what people are saying. You can't have your cake and eat it too. My thought is, if your spirit of abundance, that's a comment that came from David. There was another question that came through that I wanted to feature, but I can't find it. Oh, no, it was a comment. Michelle says, "I feel you on the labor of love, time invested." Yeah, for sure. All right, man. So do you have any hobbies? What do you do for fun? Like, I mean, I know you don't have that much fun, but
well, so Sunday is kind of a special day for my family. I don't work, we don't do anything other than just family time on Sunday. So Sundays, so my wife and 3 kids. I've got 2 daughters and a little boy, 11, 8, and 4. He turns 5 this Saturday. But every Sunday we go on what we call our Tidwell family adventures. And every Sunday we'll either go on a hike or a walk at a park, or go to the park and have a picnic and throw around a Frisbee.
awesome.
And so, yeah, those are some hobbies. I used to run quite a lot. I haven't done that for a long time. I'd like to get back into that. I've ran a half marathon before, but
Nice.
that was back in 2012, and I get scared to start running again sometimes, but maybe I'll do it again someday.
Yeah, you should.
I also love doing home projects. We just refinished our kitchen floor, and our baseboards and stuff. So I like doing fix it up projects at home and stuff too. I love that kind of stuff.
That's awesome. I love that. What would you say your biggest challenge is right now, personally?
Ooh, biggest challenge right now. Probably just overall balance, I think, of everything, but we kind of already touched on that a little
We did.
bit.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the other big challenge right now that I'm on the upside of it right now is I don't think there's anything wrong with drinking energy drinks, but I guess I'll put that out there. But I get into a bad habit every once in a while of drinking 2 or 3 Red Bulls a day, and just drinking so much of this just highly caffeinated and sugar beverages. And just about 2.5 weeks ago, I was just feeling like complete junk. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to stop and just see if I can feel a little bit better. And so I just stopped just a couple, 2.5 weeks ago, trying not to drink so much of that. And I felt so much better over the last 2.5 weeks. And so that's probably the biggest challenge. And it helps me a lot to talk about it too, because it's just, it doesn't make me feel healthy to do that. And for some reason, when I'm there, I feel like it's something I have to do every single day. And if I don't, I'm not going to be able to do what I need to do. But really, it's just I need to trick my mind going the other way. So that's probably my
Right.
biggest challenge right now, is just trying to be more healthy, trying to get more exercise, because I'm horrible at that too.
Yeah. Good for you, man. Did you just stop cold turkey, or did you replace it with something else? Like,
Oh no, I stopped cold turkey, and I had headaches for like the last like week and a half. It's been horrible.
well, just some inspiration for you. I'm on day 6 of a all water fast.
I know,
So
I noticed that on there. I was like, I was like, I can't do that.
but anyways, you saying that you're doing this inspires me more than you know. So let's keep going, man. Let's keep going. All right. So my little final question here is, if you were on the Ellen show in front of her huge audience, which she has a global audience, what would be your one message you'd want to share to that audience, to the world?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I like that. I think just be true and authentic to yourself, and like don't try to be anybody else. Just really search for, like, do what's authentic to you. And if you have naysayers around you telling you can't do something, like if you're doing something that's true to yourself and that you feel is what you're like supposed to be doing, do it. And I think there's a lot of power to that. And it's very hard to, go against people, especially if it's people that you love and trust, like your parents or your spouse or your best friend or whatever it may be. It may be people telling you like, you know what, you really should just keep a full-time job and not work on this side thing, right? And because that's safe, right? And I think, but if you feel like you need to be doing something else, like work at it slowly. You may not be able to quit your job right now, but if you work at it slowly, give it a couple years, and you can be doing what you want. So I think be authentic to yourself and be honest with yourself, and don't try and be other people. Try and figure out your authentic self and do that.
That's awesome, man. Beautiful advice. That's literally what all I'm talking about on TikTok right now, because I feel like I'm finally at that place. And I like what you said about literally just getting on the path, right? Getting on the path of becoming either the best version of yourself or doing what you love is super important. And, for me to make that decision, which is why I credit Gary Vee a lot for, forcing me to look in the mirror in a very, very healthy way, is I had to get to a point where the question was, do I want to live with regret, or do I want to live knowing that I went for it all, right? And I feel like that question is really, everybody knows what regret feels like. And, you don't want to, have your last day on this earth be the day that you're, looking back and saying, damn, I should have went for it. So that one question alone allowed me to make the leaps I've been making and trying to build what I'm building. And, I want to thank you, Pete, for being part of this journey, man, because this is what it's about, me connecting with people who like yourself,
Totally,
awesome, man. And I can't thank you enough.
Hey, you're welcome. Just one more comment that just came
for
to my
sure,
mind.
absolutely, yeah.
The other thing that I would say is live in the present, because, and like I can't say that enough, because I think other people do this a lot too, but I often dwell too much on the past, and I also worry too much about the future. And so that sometimes limits me in the present. And I think that is huge. And that's something I always have to remind myself of, is I can't control what happens in the future. Well, I kind of can, like being able to work, but you can't control other people and how they're going to react to what you're doing. And you can't change the past. And so like you have power to do something today. And I think that's a huge thing. And I think that's probably another big message I have to keep reminding myself every day. It's not something I've mastered. I probably never will, but that I have to remind myself of that, is just be present and work under the circumstances you have today, not what you think it will be tomorrow, but like, what's the best decision today? Be present.
If you're not out there sold on why you should follow my man, the Mighty Baker, aka Pete, you've been sleeping during this entire conversation. You're a good dude, man. And one last question that came from the audience. I don't want to miss you. Who was that? Who asked that? Rebecca said, "What is his go-to signature cake?"
Ooh, go-to signature cake. it probably actually would be the one that I mentioned, the chocolate brownie pound cake. It is so good. It's amazing. If my all-time favorite cake myself, I of course like chocolate, but like my all-time favorite cake is a lemon cake, actually.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Like I love like a really, really good lemon cake because I just love that lemon pucker and
Hmm.
and team that up with like a raspberry buttercream or something. Can't go wrong.
It's amazing. Well, Pete, it's been a pleasure, man. I hope to connect more with you, and thank you so much for the time that you've carved out your busy day to hang out with me.
Hey, sounds good, man. I really appreciate it too.
Yeah,
Really.
absolutely. Hey, I will be following up because what I'm trying to do with all these Cup of Joe shows is cut them up so that I can have content for socials and you as well. So be on the lookout. I've been really behind just because it's been crazy. I have a crazy lifestyle over here, but they're coming out slowly. So be on the lookout for that.
Hey, it sounds awesome, man. I really appreciate it.
All right, man. Well, you have a good day and take care of yourself.
Okay, you too.
All right. Bye bye.
See ya.
All right, gang. That was my guy, Pete. Please do me a favor. Go follow him. He's an awesome guy. That was our first time interacting, and I already knew it was going to be awesome. Like, I always tell people that I feel like my talent is finding talent. And when he left a comment or found me on TikTok and I went to check out his account, I was like, this is the dude that I want to meet. So, Pete, if you're out there watching, just want to say I appreciate the time that we spent. And please, guys, do your due diligence and go follow him. Anyways, I know for those regular folks, beautiful people who've been tuning in on the show, I've been pretty inconsistent. And just to catch you up on what's been going on in my life, Courtney had surgery a week ago, probably a week and a half ago. And so life around these parts have been really, really crazy. And just trying to find a balance, like Pete and I were discussing, has been really tough. But I am back on the mission of finding some awesome guests to bring and start featuring, and I should be more consistent with the show. So be on the lookout. Also, let me know, what did you think about the intro for today? What did you think about the intro? That was made by my guy underscore Mystic Jin underscore on TikTok. He reached out to me, heard me doing some crazy things every morning at around 8 o'clock or 8:30 a.m. I'm on TikTok live, literally giving out virtual hugs. It's turned into this big mission of mine to spread love and positivity on that platform. It's literally how I'm building my audience, but it also is selfish for me to connect with, some of the incredible humans out there who are, just doing their thing, just working. They have regular jobs or they have businesses, they have families, and they're just out there like just being kind, generous people. There's a hashtag I started on the platform called KJB, kindness just because. So if you're free in the mornings, it'll be awesome for you to come tune in 8 o'clock, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, and check us out. It's a wonderful community, and I see there's a lot of action happening in the comments. Love y'all back. Just check out these comments. Check it out. Just check them out. Check them out. They're just all positive, all positive. Hey, what's up, Josh? There goes Pete, y'all. There goes Pete. Check him out. Check him out. Check him out. But yeah, I will be back. I'm so excited. The show is not going away. And looking forward to just bringing you guys more value. There's so many ideas that are in my head. It's just take one step at a time. But trust me, a lot of value is coming. And if you stick around, you will not be disappointed. Anyway, let me know what you thought about the intro. Find me on Twitter and share with me your biggest takeaway. I want to know what your biggest takeaway is. I'm at Joe Atang. And you guys just keep staying tuned and look forward to the next episode. All right, Atang out. You guys have a great day.